Gladys Kravitz coming to you live from the vacant house. Happy Sunday. How is everyone? Someone commented yesterday, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was, that they like these big trees. Yeah, except all of these are pine trees. And pine trees are easy to fall. Yeah, because they're top heavy. And especially if we have a drought and they don't get enough moisture to hold them roots down. So, can y'all see how that one's leaning towards that house? That's no bueno. So yeah, I have actually reported to the homeowner when things have happened on this property, because, you know, I am Gladys Kravitz. And the last thing was a bullet hole through the front window, but it just kept cracking. So I got word to him through Miss Ann. You know, that's the good thing about being in the neighborhood where you grew up, because you literally just know everybody. But I don't know this man, but whatever, he ain't never here. I mean, he ain't got much grass to cut, and he don't tend to anything. Anyway, I'm walking up the road. I start hearing screaming, and I'm like looking all around, and I turn around, and here comes the girls in the back seat of their mom's car, and they have the window down screaming, "Miss Tracy! Penny! Miss Tracy!" I got so tickled. I was like, Lord, I didn't know where that screaming was coming from. Okay, now let me make it real clear to you before I tell you this story. Let me make it real clear to you that I am only laughing at my response, okay? I'm not laughing at the woman. I'm not laughing at the fact that I'm tangled up in a tree limb. I'm not laughing at the fact that the woman has addiction and anger issues. Okay? Whoa. Okay. Penny just jumped up on the porch. Okay. All right. It's kind of a big step for old mama. Anyway, I'm not making fun of the woman. I'm making fun of me. So my dad feeds at the church, right? He feeds the homeless at the church. And he's always telling me about all these people, and he's always telling me about the kitchen setup and the, you know, yada, yada, yada. So he calls me yesterday, and he said, I need to run over to the church and fix my sign. I said, okay. So, well, he asked me if I wanted to go, and I said, okay. So he comes and gets me, and we go over to the church. So I know my dad's already told me that these homeless people are not allowed in the church. Let me interrupt and say they're allowed in church on Sunday morning when they have services, and they're allowed to come to Sunday school, but just during the week when the workers are in there, they're not allowed to come in, because I know somebody's going to be all upset over that if I don't explain it quickly. And that's because they have bathrooms, they have showers, they have tables and chairs where they can sit. They have all kinds of things that people have donated to the church to help the homeless. So there's no need for them to come in the church. If they come in the church, you would just be at risk of them contaminating food or stealing the clothing that they freely hand out. But you know what I'm saying. You can't just let them in. So my dad's 90, but he is still every bit the cop that he was, okay? He has no words for anybody over there, except he's handing them their food, handing them their water. Well, Come on, we're going this way. You chose to go this way, so we're going this way. Yeah, we're going to keep going this way. This woman, no, we're not going up those steps. I mean, that's getting a little too personal to go up those steps and through that little door into the carport. Good night. I have my limits. So, this woman comes running up from behind me, and I'm looking around like, what's going on? My dad just keeps walking. He punches the code in and opens the door, and the woman's screaming, "Where's Todd? Where's Todd?" And I'm thinking, who's Todd, right? So the only thing I knew to do, I went sheriff's office days, right? I mean, because I was like, I'm not about to fight you, but if it comes to you coming in this building and hurting my dad or anybody else in here, I'm gonna hurt myself, but I'm gonna try to fight you, okay? So I turn around and I just slam the door in her face. I mean, in her face, okay? Hey, honey, no, come on, we gotta get out from under the carport. Good night, come on. Anyway, I slammed the door in her face. She's outside the door screaming. Then the pastor walks in. He's actually the retired pastor, but he still works the property. And I said, somebody's out there screaming. Something about Todd. He goes and picks out the window. He said, oh, that's Strawberry. And he opens the door and he's like, I told you, you can't be on this property. I kicked you off because you cussed people out and you called them bad names. I did not. I just need to see Todd. And the pastor's like, I don't even know who Todd is, but you're suspended from this property for a week. And she's like, I don't care. And he's like, good, then go. And I was like, I don't, how did we get here? How did we get here? And you have to understand, they are there to feed and help the homeless, and they do. But if you show up, even if you show up at a homeless shelter under the influence and acting like that, they're going to make you leave. And there's no mental hospitals to take these people to. You just have to take them to jail, and the jail's not equipped to handle that stuff. So it's a sad reality, but it is what it is, okay? And I can't fix it. I'll be right back because my shoulder hurts. Hi, it's me again. So back to the church, right? So all that happened with Strawberry, and he kicked her off the property, and she went around to the other side of the building, and all he did was walk across the building because we were on the inside, and he started screaming at her on that side too. And then the next time I saw her, she's walking through the parking lot leaving. But he runs a tight ship, and you have to, because unfortunately a lot of them are out of their mind, and this girl was using some really good slurs towards people that were in the parking lot. And if he hadn't banned her from the property, she'd have probably got her butt tore up. And she may get her butt tore up anyway. But it's a very sad situation. It's a booming business over there, okay? That church has turned into a homeless, I don't know what the right word would be, because they're not allowed to stay there on the property overnight. And they have special hours during the day that they come and they're fed and they can get clothing and stuff like that. But they can, I think, come on the property to use the bathroom and use the shower. But as long as they behave, everybody's fine. And they have a couple of homeless people that actually work in the church. They help take care of it, and they're allowed to stay on the property because they work to keep the property clean. Okay, speaking of keeping the property clean, my dad's walking me down the hall. He's showing me everything in the church, which has totally changed since I was last in the church, because all the rooms downstairs were Sunday school rooms, or we had a children's church, we had a nursery, and now it's all turned into storage for the homeless, except for the office. And, I mean, they've got a bread room, and this room, and that room, and clothes room, and all the things. It's a big ordeal. But anyway, we're walking down the hall, and they rent out the church, the upstairs, to another church, which is a Seventh-day Adventist. And, of course, they have church on Saturday, which is another reason why the homeless can't come inside. I'm about to sneeze. Hold on. Can y'all tell I sneezed? You upset? I can't help it that I have to sneeze. It's sneeze weather, okay? Welcome to spring. Anyway, I'm walking down the hall, and there's this sweet woman standing there who belongs to the church that was renting out the upstairs at that moment. And she says, excuse me, like she's being very quiet. She was fairly young. I mean, I would say probably younger than 21, I guess. I don't know, she was about that big around and about 6 feet tall. But anyway, excuse me, it's my turn to clean the rooms here, but I don't know if anyone's in here, pointing at the men's restroom. And I said, you know what? I'm not shy, so I go walking in because I know there's a wall right there that separates you from seeing anything. And I knocked on the wall and I said, is anyone in here? And I heard a man say, yep. And I turned around and looked at her. I said, there's somebody in there. And ask him when he leaves if it's empty. You don't have to be shy about it. Just be like, hey, is anybody in here? Yeah, I don't care. I'll walk right in. You think I ain't done it before? Huh? You think I ain't? I used to keep kids in children's church. I'd take them to the bathroom. I'd have to walk in there and make sure there was nobody in there. So, you know, the things that you do when you're 60 years old, well, actually, I was probably in my 40s then, but are the things that probably humiliated you as a teenager. So, yeah, whatever. I don't care. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, I love you. Jesus loves you. We hope he's coming back soon because people be crazy and she's not staring at me anymore because I haven't sneezed again. Achoo! See, she knows. She knows the real sneeze, the real deal. So, anyway, toodles.